Well, let's sit down and have a little bit of a chat. So I pulled on my Instagram question box, both the anonymous one and like the regular Instagram poll, some of which I answered a few weeks ago on my Instagram story, but they're just like short answers. However, I'm gonna answer some of those same questions here just because we're sitting down. It can be a little bit more detailed and long form answer. I did have a bunch of questions that I didn't answer also. So if you did ask me something and I didn't answer it on my Instagram already, it's definitely gonna be answered here. I got a lot of good questions. Some of them kind of repeat, but I figured the easiest way would be to put this into categories so everything kind of flows and makes sense in terms of my answers. I don't want to go like here and here and here and here and it's like all jumbled. So the 4 categories are TTC. Then we're going to go into questions about male factor infertility. Then I'm going to go into like infertility itself. You guys had some good questions about, you know, how I feel about infertility and that type of stuff. So that will be that category. And then last but not least is our IVF. So let's just jump into it. Starting with the first category, TTC, and if you don't know what that stands for, that is trying to conceive. So the first question is, how long did you and your husband try before seeking fertility advice? I've been trying for several months and all my cycle tracking is consistent and regular. Wondering when I should look into it further. It's not talked about enough, so I appreciate you and your honesty. Thinking of you. Thank you so much. That was so nice of you to say. I'm definitely going to answer this, but I do have a whole series of our journey. We're over 2 years now and I've recorded everything. I didn't start posting or talking about it on social media until September. So my very first infertility vlog I will attach here. That's like a really in-depth explanation to your question, but to answer that now, we were trying on our own for about 9 or 10 months. So we started October 2022 and we got referred to the fertility clinic in July 2023. We originally started with the fertility clinic because I was having cramping. I believe it was on my left side for pretty much like 6 weeks straight. I wasn't in pain or anything. It just really felt like there was just like a stone just chilling there. Like I wasn't really uncomfortable, but it was just there. Like I just felt like something was pressing on my left side. So I talked to my family doctor, I got an ultrasound done, and at the time they found a cyst, a fibroid, and a polyp. So that's actually why we originally started with the fertility clinic, because my family doctor said, hey, look, you know, these people are more knowledgeable, they'll be able to help you better. And since you've been trying for almost a year, let's just get it rolling. I know the standard for people under 35 is 1 year of trying without success. And I believe over 35 is 6 months of trying without success. The second question that I got is, should workouts change if you are TTC? So if you're trying to conceive. First and foremost, it's important for me to say to always speak to your doctor. However, if you're already working out and you already have a routine, I don't see what the use is of stopping that. I don't think personally going for like PRs and lifting super heavy is what you should be focusing on a TTC journey, because high levels of, you know, weights and working out, it's stressful on your body. And of course you want to still be in shape and work out, but you also don't want to be stressing your body out to its max because you're trying to prepare your body to have a baby, right? During my 2-week wait, I also like to focus a little bit more on other things. So I try and walk even more than I normally do. I try and do more Pilates classes than I normally do. And at the same time, I also just try to listen to my body and rest if I need. Something that's been really important for me personally too over my TTC journey is I've been really incorporating like ab and core work, because we all know like this is really important for when you are pregnant and for a pregnancy. The third and fourth question, they're kind of tied, so I'm going to answer them together. Have you ever tried acupuncture? I work for an acupuncturist who primarily works with women that deal with infertility. And then somebody also asked, does your husband do acupuncture? So this is actually funny. At the time of me answering this on my Instagram, which was a few weeks ago, the answer was no. I did do acupuncture for a few months last summer summer, so the summer of 2023, when I was having those issues with the cyst, especially. After a few months of me doing the acupuncture, that is when we found out the actual cause of our infertility, which is male factor infertility, so it's on my husband's end. I had an ultrasound done and my fibroid, my polyp, my cyst, they were all gone, so I decided to stop acupuncture. But I actually started acupuncture again. Yesterday was my second session, the week before was my first session. She's gonna work with me to just prep my body for the IVF. So yes, I'm doing acupuncture. At the current time, my husband is not. The last question of this category is, how many kids did you want? Has that changed now that you're going through infertility? This question is honestly, it's pretty interesting, and I actually don't think I really thought about it before until I saw this question and I was like, damn, I do think infertility has changed my mind. So I come from a smaller family. It's just me and my one brother. My husband comes from a bigger family. He has 3 siblings. So it's him and then his 2 brothers and his sister. We have always been polar opposites because I grew up with just 1 sibling. I always wanted to have a bigger family. I wanted to have 4 kids. And my husband says because he grew up with a bigger family, he always wanted only probably 2 kids. It's weird because it's been so hard to just have our first, so I'm like, yeah, that's changed my mind because it's like, it feels like so hard to just have our first child. I can't imagine having 4, you know what I mean? Moving into the second category, this one is about male factor infertility. So the first one was, what does male factor infertility mean? Sorry, I'm not trying to be dumb, just genuinely curious. I don't think you're dumb at all. Honestly, it's interesting that you do say that because so many people don't know what male factor infertility is, and it's understandable because for so long, the general issue with infertility was in women. So basically, male factor infertility it can be a variety of different things. It could be one of these things, or it could even be a mixture. First thing is it could be either a low sperm count, so that means the numbers are just down. It can also mean abnormal sperm function, so that can come in a few different ways. That could be either from motility, which is basically like how sperm swims, because for example, you can have a lot of like a high sperm count, but if they're not swimming to the egg, like they're not doing anything, right? Abnormal sperm function can also mean in terms of like morphology, which is the shape of the sperm. Male factor also means there can be like, I forget what the term is called, but it means there's literally no sperm, like nothing. And then the last one would be like there's some sort of blockage. Most of the time, these things can be improved with supplements and just lifestyle changes. So, you know, not drinking as much alcohol, stop smoking cigarettes, stop smoking marijuana, just working out more to help boost testosterone, having a better diet, that type of stuff. Somebody asked any updates on the male fertility specialist. We're going through the same thing. I may have included this in my last update of our infertility journey, but we do have an update. Found out that it was a medication that my husband was taking for his Crohn's disease that was kind of suppressing his count. His urologist wanted him to wait 3 months to see if there was going to be improvements with not taking that medication, and his numbers actually did go up a little bit. They weren't like crazy good still because they were pretty bad. So he basically said to him, I want you to continue what you're doing for another 3 months and then we're gonna check again. And basically his doctor said if it was good or even higher, that we would possibly consider IUI. So September and October rolled around and it was kind of up in the air, and his numbers are better but still not where basically the doctor wanted it to be. So we were turned down when it comes to IUI, but that's okay because we are doing IVF a lot sooner. What are the best ways to support your husband when dealing with male factor? First and foremost, talk about it, okay? I very selfishly at the beginning of this journey was just thinking that this was like affecting me, and although that I knew that this was male factor, I don't know, I guess it was just like the heightened emotions. I didn't feel like it was affecting my husband as much as it was affecting me, but in total reality, this will affect your husband equally, if not more, than it does yourself. At first, we it felt like we were individuals trying to cope with this, but we're a team. So now we really work together and just talk it through because we're both equally as devastated. This is an us thing. So the second thing I would say is for both of you to kind of like let go of the past. If your husband blames himself or blames like past choices, past lifestyle, habits, like just forget about it and just think about moving forward. What you guys can do moving forward. So whether that's if he needs to stop drinking, if he needs to stop smoking, if he needs to start working out. And also kind of to go with that, you know, if he does need to make lifestyle changes, do them with him, at least if you can. So like, for example, if the doctor told him to start working out more, maybe try and go to the gym together. Again, this is, you guys are a team. So doing this together would be a really, you know, good way to help support him. Moving on to the third category, we're going to talk just generally about infertility. So somebody said, what does infertility feel like to you? Sad, dark, lonely, exciting, hopeful, ebbs and flows. This is also a very interesting question because I feel like my answer has changed over X amount of time that we've been going through infertility. I definitely think I was a lot more sad at the very beginning because it was very new to us. I was devastated that this was the journey that was gonna be ours. Like I always imagined that we would get pregnant pretty quickly. I thought it would be easy. I never ever considered that we would be in the position that we are. After I kind of got over that for like a year, I would say it would definitely ebb and flow. I would be sad some days, not my camera dying while I was in the middle of that question. So if I look a little bit out of place or different, that's why. So yeah, I guess when I kind of got over those first couple of months of my emotions, for the next year, I would definitely say it ebbed and flowed. Like some days I would feel really good and positive, and then some days I'd be like, why is this happening to us? I'd usually cry for like an hour or like a couple hours, and then I'd be like, all right, get it together, girl. I think one thing that I did that was really good for my mental health specifically, and just like how to feel about the situation overall, is I actually stopped taking pregnancy tests. So every month I just wait for my period. If it comes, and I don't really get my hopes up. I don't think about it, which I think is the main thing. Next question. I'm not pregnant, but I'm thinking about how to tell my best friend who's struggling with infertility that I'm pregnant when it happens. For me, I won't speak on other people's experiences. I've seen people's experiences on social media. For me personally, I am always extremely happy for my friends who have announced their pregnancies or told me they're pregnant. But what is valid is that two emotions can happen at the same time. So I can be very happy for my friend who's pregnant, but I will also be sad as heck for myself. It's two very big emotions, right? It's hard to be told these things and kind of put on the spot because you don't feel like you can be your authentic self with your emotions. So I feel like texting your friends saying something like, hey, I know this might be hard for you to hear. I understand that you're going through something very difficult. I wanted you to find out from me and not hear it from anyone else. I didn't want you to learn from it from social media, but I wanted to let you know that I am pregnant. And I think that is probably the best way, just because your friend will be in closed doors. It's not face-to-face. It's not in a public setting. It's not in a group setting. He or she can, you know, deal with that emotions that they're gonna feel right in that moment. We're not purposely trying to feel bad for other people or negative towards other people, right? Like we wanna be happy for other people, but it's just the fact that we're so sad for ourselves overbears those feelings. So like feeling bad for ourselves and feeling happy for you is like this, if that makes any sense. Next question, how can I support a family member going through infertility? This is a really good question. I'm so happy that you guys are asking these types of things because it shows that you guys genuinely care about learning about how you can be a better friend, a better family member to those that are struggling. The first thing I would say would actually be to just be blunt. Like straight up asking, what can I do to support you during this time? How can I help you get through this? Is there anything I can do to make you feel more comfortable? Something along those lines, because people deal with things differently, and that's for any situation in life. So I feel like just like straight up asking the person what they need from you kind of like cuts the limbo of like, what should I do? What should I say? Like if you just ask them, just say, I want to support you. I want you to let me know what you need from me and how I can be there for you. I would also say to give grace and time and just be patient towards that family member. I know, speaking personally, like sometimes we have really good doctor's appointments and like we're excited, but then there's some appointments we come out of and we're like, shit, like that didn't go our way. So I think just letting them come to you, obviously, you know, just let them know that you're there for them. You can say something like, hey, I know you had an appointment. When you're ready to talk, or if there's anything you want to discuss, I'm here for you. And then the third thing I would say is honestly, educate yourself. Google is free. It's not hard to, you know, do a 10-minute Google search to, you know, find out the process or what they're going through, or like anything. Like for example, if you know your family member is struggling with male factor infertility, just Google that. So much information is gonna come up. Like it's so hard as somebody going through infertility to explain everything to your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your best friend, your cousin, your aunt, your uncle, your grandma. Like it's overwhelming. So as a family member, if you want to show support to that person, do a little bit of research so they don't need to come to you and explain everything 100 times, if that makes sense. All right, now guys, we're gonna move into the topic that I feel like most people have questions about or just are curious about, and that is IVF. Now, one of the questions I did get was, what is IUI? So I think I'll answer that first. IUI generally happens before IVF. In our case, we were denied IUI, but IUI is intrauterine insemination. So basically that is when they take the sperm out of the man and they put it in the woman through a catheter. So basically the egg and the sperm are still not fertilized. The sperm will still need to swim to the egg, but the starting point is a lot closer than if you were to baby dance or to try to conceive naturally. IVF is in vitro fertilization. So they're taking the sperm and the egg out of both of us. They're putting it together, fertilizing it in a lab. They're growing it for a couple of days, and then they're putting it back in the woman. So this question I forgot to screenshot for some reason, but I did write it down. They said, are you still trying naturally while waiting for IVF? The answer is yes and no. I still do like ovulation tests here and there, but I will say, like, since our IVF is approaching, I'm not being crazy about it, in the sense that like before it was like clockwork. Like I was taking like 2, 3, 4 ovulation tests a day because I did not want to miss the LH surge. I did not want to miss my ovulation whatsoever. We were like timing specific days for baby dancing, and it was very like a schedule. I think the past like month or so, it's more so we are just trying to enjoy intimacy, because honestly, infertility drains you of your emotions. It drains the intimacy out of your relationship, because like I said, it's like it feels like everything's on a schedule. Next question, will you guys hopefully be able to conceive via IVF? So the answer is yes, we're hopeful. Our doctors are pretty convinced like it's gonna be successful for us. We were never told that we can't conceive naturally. We were just told that our chance was a lot lower. I don't know why my dog's barking in the background. So there is a chance that it could still happen naturally, but I mean, we've been on this journey for over 2 years and it hasn't happened. So we are hopeful that IVF is going to be successful for us. A lot of questions were just about like when we're starting. So how long were you on the funded IVF waitlist versus actual wait times? When are you starting? When will you likely try IVF? So we were put on the funded waitlist for IVF in December 2023. We were told 14 to 18 months, which we were expecting to be like April till August 2025. Now, I shared briefly on Instagram that we were bumped up on the waitlist, and I said I wasn't going to share the timeline, but for my YouTube fam, I will tell you guys that we were told January or February 2025, which is like, it's very soon. We've kind of already started the process, so I'm gonna make like an IVF journey series, so I'll talk about it more there, but things are gonna happen fast, you guys. I think they're gonna happen really fast. So it's very nerve-wracking, it's very exciting. I don't know if people just like dropped out of the waitlist for our clinic or why we're doing it sooner than expected. I'm not sure, but I'm not complaining. I'm for real. I'm not complaining. And then I guess the last question is, someone said, did your clinic share any info about the new funding they're adding to Ontario Infertility? So if you're unaware, as of January 2025, Ontario is getting new funding for fertility treatments, $150 million. Our clinic specifically has not said anything to us. I think because one, we were already on the wait list, and two, it's now approaching in the new year for us. Like, it's not really gonna apply to us because our time is here anyways. The whole idea of this funding is that more people should be helped and should be helped at faster rates. So hopefully wait times for any fertility treatment, IUI, IVF, whatever it is. Yeah, that was the last question, I think. At least the last one I'm gonna answer. I had a couple questions that, if you saw my Instagram, they bothered me. So I'm not giving them attention here. But yeah, that is it. So exciting things are coming. Thank you guys so much for asking me these questions. Thank you guys so much for showing support, love, for your DMs, for liking my videos here on YouTube or on Instagram that have to do with our infertility, for commenting. You guys have made me feel so empowered to talk about this. If you have any more questions, DM me or comment them below. But the next video, I think, that I'm gonna post about our infertility is gonna be the start of our IVF journey. So it's pretty crazy. It is crazy. Good things are coming. I'm feeling hopeful. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive. I'm feeling excited. I can't wait.